Hi, William.
Hello, Rod.
And other people.
Hello, listener.
Of the millions of other people who are out there.
Yes.
So, you've heard of rock stars and, antics.
Jimmy Swaggart.
Yes, he is a rock star. He's Jesus' rock star.
I don't know anything about him. I just like his name.
Hey, I'm a swag.
Is he a baddie or a goodie? I'm not sure.
He's a baddie. He's an evangelical Christian.
Okay, there you go.
He's
not even a rock star, is he? He's not like Keith Nugent.
Not even a little bit. Ted Nugent.
Ted Nugent.
Keith Nugent has a very different job to Ted Nugent.
Indeed.
So rock stars, they like to play, and they at times get injured. You've probably heard this.
Yeah, of course.
Like occupational injuries. So,
like cutting yourself if you're
when you're cutting up crudités for your band before the concert.
Well, I was going to say with a bottle on stage, like
or that,
like Johnny Rotten, or
yeah, or like Ace Frehley in 1976 of Kiss fame.
Yeah, okay.
So he was apparently walking down a flight of stairs and he grabbed the metal railing on the stairs and he didn't realise that would complete an electrical current with his guitar.
Oh no!
And it seized him up and threw him backwards, and that was the only thing that made him let go of the railing and stopped him dying.
Well, that's the difference between AC current and DC current.
Yeah, and it wasn't AC/DC, it was Kiss.
Well, yeah, exactly. But still,
I don't know the difference.
A DC current would lock your hand on, and AC current throws you off.
Is that what it is?
Well, there's other differences.
That's enough for me.
There's some big significant. That's one of the good differences.
I'm no electronicist though. I don't know what to do. He lived though. Alice Cooper hung himself accidentally. On stage. So his live show had a whole bunch of things that showed him sort of faking his death, fake decapitation and hanging himself. And once he was trying to do a fake hanging and there was they say piano wire, not around his neck, but used to stop him from actually getting strangled, and that broke. And so he apparently dangled by his neck for a few seconds before he hit the ground unconscious.
Whoa. I mean, that is rock and roll. That is commitment to your show that you're going to fake kill yourself. I'm there for the music, but a little bit of showmanship is nice. It's
also far less embarrassing than, you putting that thing around your neck to get a harder orgasm and being found dead.
Different topic. Yeah, indeed. Each to their own a little bit, but maybe
do what you want. No, you wank how you want as long as it's consensual. James Hetfield of Metallica, 1992 in Montreal. They had a special effect that was basically a 3,000 degree geyser of flame. And he got confused and he stepped forward instead of backwards. 12-foot geyser, so 900 meters, in the song Fade to Black. He walked into it. Second and third degree burns down to the bone on one of his hands.
I mean, I know you get confused. Like I often, I'm with the circular saw. Sometimes I think, okay, I cut through the wood, I cut through my hand, I cut through the wood, I cut through my hand. You do get confused.
Of course.
But stepping forward, doesn't your body instinctively say, hey, James,
run from fire.
James, away from fire, not towards the fire.
I believe what would have happened was he was trying to time it spectacularly with the music and he went, and then I stepped forward and boom, fuck, it should have been back.
That is a famous Metallica song, and then they step forward and boom.
Yeah, it's called the Hokey Pokey. You put your right devil's horns in. Dave Grohl in Sweden in 2015. So he was playing away. And he lost his footing playing Monkey Wrench, great song.
Indeed.
And the fun one to play on Guitar Hero. You can actually play that. And he fell and went down 6 feet and broke his leg.
Like off stage?
Off stage. But he famously, about an hour later, he came back in a cast and finished the show.
Oh, as you would though, because that is so commitment to the show.
Yeah. He doesn't care.
It's a little bit Teddy Roosevelt. When Teddy Roosevelt got shot in the middle of it.
Exactly. I was going to say.
Well, no, Teddy Roosevelt. While he was president, he got shot. And this says something about the old timey bullets and how powerful they are a little bit.
Ooh.
He got shot in the chest, and I think he did have a pocketbook there.
And it didn't save his life miraculously.
No, it saved his life. He was fine. He was fine. It did hurt him a chunk. There was some bad bruising and a little bit of cut or something like that.
Yeah.
He continued the speech.
He did.
He's like, oh,
I'm Teddy.
Oh.
I'm a Roosevelt.
But that Dave Grohl commitment to the show, that's amazing.
It's fucking excellent. And Marilyn Manson was basically crushed by giant falling guns in 2017. So he had these two scaffolding on these giant guns being held up above the head.
Cool.
He basically swung on the scaffolding and the prop fell on him.
Ow.
And they're bloody big. I looked at a photo, like they're bigger than a man. We're not talking, damn, that's a Dirty Harry-sized weapon.
These are some fake guns that he's made extra big.
Big fake guns. And so he hit the ground, crushed the bones in his right leg, rushed to hospital, etc. Had to cancel a few tours, but then he got better.
All right, no, Dave Grohl is the winner out of the story.
Of course he. Well, James Hetfield, 3rd-degree burns, burnt his hand down to the bone. That's pretty bad. He didn't keep playing on that day.
Feeling that hurt. He's a singer. It doesn't matter. It's his voice that matters.
He played guitar too.
Did he?
Yeah, he does.
Oh, well.
He stands there going, exit, night, enter light, take my hand, I'm in a rock and roll band. But he didn't play with his skeleton fingers. He, waited.
That would be death metal, though.
Oh, wouldn't it?
Look at my skeleton hand.
The idea, though, that you would burn your hand badly enough, you got it to the bone. I know there's not a lot of meat on a hand, but nonetheless, I feel like that would take a couple of weeks to get over it.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's rock stars, right? That's the rock guys. What about the classical musos? I mean, I knew that was going to be your next question.
Conductor falls off or crushed by a tuba.
Crushed by a tuba.
Sousaphone accident.
You get your head stuck in a tuba. That's the problem. A lot of suffocations. They get depressed and scared. So there's this article called A Symphony of Maladies in the British Medical Journal, published in 2008 for those of you, madly tapping into Scopus or whatever.
We'll put it in the show notes. Maybe. I'll think about it.
Of course we will.
By we, maybe I will. I'll think about it.
Look, I can try, but I don't know how. So it was written by, as they put it, 2 interested musicians who'd scoured the medical literature and the web and discovered the dangers hidden within the confines of the orchestral practice room. I know, it's scandalous. So welcome to the world of fiddlers' necks, flautist chins, laryngeal blowouts, and Satchmo syndrome.
Welcome
Thank you.
to The Wholesome Show, the science podcast for people who sit up the back of the classroom.
Yes, and in which we ask the stupid questions so that you do not have to. You probably don't even want to, but we're going to do it for you anyway.
The Wholesome Show is a production of Good Day Studios.
Yeah, it is.
And brought to you by the Australian National Centre for the Public Awareness of Science.
Yes, it is.
I'm Will Grant.
I'm Dr. Roderick Griffin. Good God, what a guitar god I could have been if I'd actually practiced a lot.
I know.
Lamberts.
Couldn't we all?
I was going to be. I was sure.
Like deep down, imagining yourself on stage with the adoring crowds. That's the easy bit. I
know. That's the reason I wanted to do it.
The hard bit is the years and years of toil in your bedroom. I get too bored in my bedroom.
Is that a euphemism? What have you been doing? Toiling
in my bedroom. I get
too
bored.
Alone. I might toil again in an hour.
Well, hats off to those that could, and then they achieved it, and then they entertain us. So the deal is not bad.
Oh, I'm a fan. The idea of it. Of course, it seems like you just basically party, just like being a classical musician. You figure those xylophonists.
They party.
Yeah, they do.
They party.
They do.
Satchmo syndrome.
Well, yeah, let's get into it. So I'm going to head back to the Symphony of Maladies. This excellent paper. God, I often recommend papers, as you know, in my spare time. So, as they put it, classical musicians have never been considered a daredevil bunch, and I agree with that.
Probably. And they're going to protect the fingers. Like if you're the pianist, they're saying, "Oh my God, I can't iron, I can't do the washing up because of my fingers, or I can't go pick an adrenaline sport, jumping off things or crashing down things."
Yeah, hitting yourself in the head with a hammer, all those adrenaline sports. Also, the mouths are important in classical music instrumentalities.
Indeed, but not as important in adrenaline sports.
No, it depends what you're doing.
I don't. Well, you got to breathe, but I think
I got a few, but I'm not going to bring them up.
I'm not sure. We'll pick one. We're gonna go dirt bike riding
with your mouth.
That's tough.
I don't even know what that would look like. So apparently, the perils of innocuous activities in the orchestra have been a closely guarded secret. So they don't like to talk about injuries because they're worried that if they're exposed as being weak, it could jeopardize their place in orchestras, which could jeopardize their livelihoods. So apparently a lot of them will suffer in silence. They won't say anything if they're hurt.
Okay. Is this? I assume it's like, okay, you get violinist's elbow. I assume there actually is a violin, but you don't want to tell people because then you lose your spot in the orchestra and you're out. You're out, Jimmy.
You're out of here. You're fired. So
we had a vote. You're out of the band.
Yep, that's it because of your flautist's nostrils.
Flautist lips.
Yeah. And so apparently 1985 is a professional pianist called Leon Fleischer, concert pianist, and he told an interviewer that, quote, There was something macho about practicing through the pain barrier. So he's a macho classical concert pianist, and he would.
Every field has its masculinity issues.
Yeah, not classical pianists. They
I will just pause for a second and say a shout out to Bruny Island for the beer co for their Bruny Black.
It is delicious, Bruny Island. I mean, your cheese is good, your olives are great, but your beers, That said, okay, let's check out a few issues of classicals. Satchmo syndrome I did mention from before. It's a rupture of the orbicularis oris. It's basically the muscles.
You got to break that down for me, egghead.
The muscles around the lips and the mouth, basically.
So there is flutist lips.
Yeah, but this is Satchmo from Louis Armstrong. Satchel Mouth, they called him. Satchmo is him, and trumpet.
Oh, okay. Wow.
You should know that. You're a former trumpester.
I am, and I know, and Louis Armstrong is great.
Yeah.
At least 4 or 5 stars, something like that. But I didn't know he got a lip-based injury.
Yeah, that's what he's famous for. Everything else is incidental. But apparently, if you get this syndrome where you've ruptured muscles around your mouth, which sounds freaking horrible, you get a reduced ability to play range because you can't, tense and so forth. Reduce agility and stamina for high notes, so you can't hold the old squeaky.
When did this happen to him? Like, is this sort of late career, or did he push through? He got it when he was 20, and he still played for another 40 years.
Macho dude. He played better when he had the syndrome.
I'm imagining the long-term damage to his lips. This sounds really tough.
I'd be fucked up. Like, it would really hurt. And treatment. So if it's not too bad, you can rest it. But otherwise, you need surgical repair.
And then your lips are never going to be the same.
I would have thought.
Once you get in the surgery for these things, to get a surgeon to get your lips back to the standard they need to be.
Yeah. No. Imagine going to physio. Oh, it's the blowjob guy again. Put this tennis ball in your mouth. Squeeze, unsqueeze, squeeze, unsqueeze. Next to dudes who've been, lifting weights or playing for the LA 72ers or whatever.
Yeah, but called, still, Louis gave his all.
Yeah, he did, and he was hilarious.
Was he?
Oh yeah, renowned comedian. Also, you get things like you get dermatitis and irritants like that. So the nickel in trumpets can mess you up. Chromium and brass in guitar strings, flute heads.
Wow.
All these things can mess up your skin. The cane reeds of saxophones and oboes affect some people.
Oh, yeah, like
so you get
little fibers.
Fibers I assume.
Yeah.
I played saxophone for 6 months. I'm fine. I didn't play it well or often.
Some of these things, I'm not sure it's about how well you play it. It's surely just the length of time.
Yeah, no, I think it is. I wasn't good enough to get injured. Have you played a clarinet? Have you played a reed instrument? You know how you got to basically gob on it for half an hour before you can use it?
It's kind of weird.
Imagine that. Can I borrow your clarinet? Actually, I've changed my mind.
Although I do deep down think, sometimes when a reed instrument is played beautifully, it's such a cool sound.
It's amazing. It's just gross.
So what? That's what we get musicians to do for us.
Magic addition. Fiddler's neck. Someone who fiddles too much. See, apparently it's a ubiquitous brown mark on the left side of the neck of players of the upper string instruments, so violins, violas, etc.
So basically it's just the varnish wearing off on them.
Yeah, a lot of it, yeah. But also they say it's a combination of that pressure and moisture, which can lead to hyperpigmentation and lichenification. Lichen as spelt like moss. Lichen.
Are they growing moss on them?
I'd like to say yes. It says it produces scaling, pustules, and eventual scarring.
Stop it.
Fucking hideous. And you can also get a similar thing as flautist's chin, which results from friction and salivation.
Oh, you got the flute there up against your chin.
Yeah, and you're pushing hard. And I love the quotes in this article. Both conditions may be alleviated by beard growth, although we have yet to discover a solution for women.
Fake beards.
Yeah,
fake
exactly. Wait, are you the same woman from before?
Oh, I do like the idea that all musicians then have either beards or fake beards to stop their flautist's chin.
Look, it's also fluid these days anyway. They're allowed to have a beard.
Sure. Look, anyone's allowed to have a beard. I think, just the deliberate taking on of the beard would be nice.
I do like that. Yeah, we have yet to discover a solution for women. Face shield, masks. There's also, you can get dermatological skin condition things around other parts of the body. So you can get cellist's knee or cellist's chest.
Oh, depends where you're resting your cello, I guess.
It really does, yeah.
If you're playing the lie-down cello with it on your chest or, on the knees. So.
I watched a band, they were called Fireballs, and the bass was a big double bass dude.
Okay, that's right.
And he would stand on it, swing it around his head like he could have broken his leg playing the bass. They were pretty good, actually.
I always worry whenever a band says, all right, let's get in the orchestra, let's get in the cellos, that's when they jump the shark.
Yes.
It's like, no, you're a band. Like, have you guys, your bass, your electric guitar, some drums, and a vocalist.
Yeah.
Don't get the orchestra because that is you dying.
We're the Sex Pistols and this is the Boston Philharmonic. You're like, now I'm out. I'm out.
Like, you're done. You're making too much money when you can hire the Boston Philharmonic as your backing band. Stop it.
Yep, I agree. Like, anarchy in the UK, gosh darn it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, with a flourish. No, I disagree with it. Guitarists and harpers can get calluses and weird knuckle swellings. It makes them look sort of frog-like, which is strange. And nail infections. Fungal nail infections are quite common, apparently.
Oh, really?
Gross as fuck. Oh. There was a study they quote that said 73% of the violinists that they looked at compared to the control group ground their teeth, so possibly because it's pushing against their face a lot, etc. Oboists, horn players, trumpeters who perform high-pressure, low-flow volume lip-like movers.
High-pressure, low-flow volume?
Yeah, so you're trying to get high noises, apparently. You can get to a point where you get what they call pharyngeal incompetence. Which can...
Is this an excuse not to hand in your essay?
Yes.
I had some pharyngeal incompetence.
I'm pharyngally incompetent. It's not my fault.
Where is my pharyngeal?
The pharynx is sort of back of your neck and throat. Yep. And that can lead to nasal speech and this is my favourite part, regurgitation of liquids or snorting while playing. So you imagine you hit the high note and a cascade of snot across the back of the head of the person in the orchestra in front of you, which is shit. Treatments include language therapy, lipo injections of the soft palate, or surgical grafts of Teflon.
Wow.
Inserts inside the soft palate. Teflon inserts.
Get you a smooth, so you can fry an egg on it inside your...
Yep.
That sounds nice.
And you don't, like, torrents of snot and snot.
Well, I kind of feel like, as you know, I was tweeting the other day about my Teflon pan lasting for 10 minutes, and then and one of my environmentally conscious friends is like, "Did you know it's all inside you now?" And
yes,
thank you. Shut up. I don't need to hear more.
Does that mean I should eat the pan to really be sure?
Exactly. But there you go. Get it inside you.
I know it's inside
and
me.
nothing has happened bad. So
you seem fine.
I seem fine.
You don't slip off everything. I've noticed,
my
friction still works.
My insides are very slippery. So
yeah, but organs move around. Everyone knows that. We'll do a podcast on that.
Organs moving around.
Yeah, they're not where you think they are. Apparently, the inside of the body is nothing like a diagram. It's
No. 10 years ago, I got them all stapled in place.
Like but you're a neat guy.
Exactly. I don't like to have
aesthetics matter to you. I get that.
Exactly.
Someone's got to pay attention. It's not me. Circular breathing, which we know about. Didgeridoo players are famed for, but so you can basically blow and breathe. Well, you got to practice it for more than an afternoon.
It was always primary school education. We had a really good Indigenous program in my primary school. Quite a lot of Indigenous elders from the local community would come and do different things.
Oh, cool.
And so we're all practicing like grade 2, grade 3, or grade 4.
Yeah.
You know, they've got the didgeridoo up the front, and they'd this is well pre-COVID. We'd all have a go, or they'd pass around bits of plastic pipe or something. And like circular breathing seemed to me one of those skills that the 8-year-old in grade 2, it's moon landing away. Like, how the hell do I make my lungs?
This is what? I can do both at the same time?
No. Theoretically possible to do. Yeah. No one could do it.
Well, it sounds like if you do it a lot, it can actually affect the autonomic control of the heart.
Of course it can.
So it can fuck up your
you open the door to
heartbeat.
circular breathing. You don't know.
Anything can happen.
Demons, like seriously demons. Like breathing in and breathing out at the same time, that's impossible.
It sounds satanic.
Exactly. The only person that could do it before was
Satan.
Yes, exactly. And
the Lord of Light himself.
Yeah. You go down to a crossroads and then you ask if you can do circular breathing.
I want to breathe in circles. And I mean, you even get to a point where high resistance wind players, so trumpets, oboes, things like that, some have shown an increase in interocular, so eye pressure. And so you can lose visual field, areas of your visual field.
Squeezing your whole face so much. Wow.
Yeah. So there's a shitload of them. Like there's so many of these things. And this one article, the Symphony of Maladies, has a buttload. Too many to focus on. So I thought I'd dig into 2.
Okay. You're going to choose the light ones that are easy on us, aren't you?
I am.
The friendly maladies.
So the Maladies article is a summary of a bunch of stuff over decades. And they talk about this one first. There are 2 that first appear in the British Medical Journal in 1974. First one, guitar nipple. You're going to guess that one.
So
You're playing it wrong.
Male and female.
Well, let me tell you.
Okay, right, okay.
It appears as a letter to the editor, and apparently it's quite common to bring up cases and
letters to the editor of which?
Oh, okay. The British Medical Journal, BMJ.
I thought this was going to be Kerrang or something like that.
Dear sir, I am most upset. Sir, I have recently seen 3 patients with traumatic mastitis of one breast. These were all girls aged between 8 and 10, and the mastitis consisted of a slightly inflamed cystic swelling about the base of the nipple.
8 and 10? Oh, okay.
Questioning revealed that all 3 were learning to play the classical guitar, which requires close attention to the position of the instrument in relation to the body.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah, classical music. You're not playing down near the old groinular area.
No. You're sitting down and you've got the guitar across your chest. Okay.
Yep. In each case, a full-size guitar was used and the edge of the sound box pressed against the nipple. I should say pressed against the nipple. Two of the patients...
No, you shouldn't because
they're 8 to 10.
8 to 10. Don't do that.
I forgot the first bit.
Yes, 8 to 10-year-olds have nipples, but there you go.
But so do I.
Yeah, indeed. And you can do that on your own.
Why are you making it weird, man?
You can make it weird about your own nipples. I can do that.
Okay, I can do that.
There you go.
You ready? You want to hear about it? 2 of the patients were right-handed and consequently had right-sided mastitis, while the third was left-handed with left-sided mastitis. When the guitar playing was stopped, the mastitis subsided spontaneously. I would be interested to know whether any other doctors have come across this condition. I am, etc., P. Curtis.
I am, etc.
I am, comma, etc., comma. That's how they signed off.
Well, most of my emails finish like that, except the ones to you. The rest, I am, etc.
Yeah, I know. Like hot regards nowadays, like normal people, but no, I am, etc. So that's guitar nipple. In the same year, but a month later.
Well, we had a flurry.
Well, it was weird. I mean, before I get to that, so it sounds pretty weird. It sounds a bit unpleasant, particularly for female guitarists, at least children. I'm thinking though, why would only be particular to children? If you're 8 to 10, boys and girls are pretty much
they're the same.
Gesturally the same.
They're mostly the same, except for just there. Other than that, they're pretty identical.
Pretty similar. A doctor wrote to the BMJ wondering if the girls with guitar nipple, as they put it in inverted commas, should get new guitar lessons because the description in the original medical report described them as playing left-handed guitar for a right-handed person. I don't know what they're talking about.
Okay.
Anyway, so there's a boy equivalent, sort of. Not with guitar, though. So the next month...
tuba testicles.
Cello scrotum.
I was close.
You were close. Cello scrotum.
So is this the spread your legs quite wide, cello in between, and it might be getting a bit of vibration?
Do whatever you want, man.
What is it doing to
How do you play your cello?
Well, that's how I play my cello.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
You can't keep your legs together and play cello.
You shouldn't.
That's one thing I know about cello.
No, people will laugh at you.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't want that.
Like or you could do side saddle. I guess you could do side saddle.
God, that'd be difficult. Your bow hand on the close side and your fingering hand on the other, you'd get shoulder injuries.
You can't say your fingering hand. Like
it's his music. It's classical music.
Exactly. All right, you're allowed to say.
Mind out of the gutter. Sir. The letter.
Yours, etc.
Sir.
Dear Kerrang editors.
Though I have not come across guitar nipple as reported by Dr. P. Curtis.
So this is like a flood. Like he's referencing directly the previous letter.
Yes, he is, yeah. And it is a he. I have not come across guitar nipple as reported by Dr. P. Curtis, April of blah, blah, blah. I did once come across a case of cello scrotum caused by irritation from the body of the cello.
He's gone in very hard straight away with the name. Like he could have said a case of scrotum that had become inflamed or whatever you're going to tell me. He's gone in straight away. I'm naming this thing cello scrotum.
Yeah, not like cello related.
Look, this is the first one I've seen of cello
The
scrotum.
new syndrome. I am the cello scrotum discoverer. The patient in question was a professional musician and played in a rehearsal, practice, or concert for several hours each day. I am, etc., J.M. Murphy.
Oh, he didn't describe it? Give me what
That's the letter.
All he's saying, I've seen it, and this
is
what
this
guy did. No details for you.
I've seen cello nuts. Bye.
It's like the guy at the pub is just yelling out, you know what I've seen?
Fucking cello balls, mate.
No, I'm not telling you.
Yeah.
No.
What's it like? I got to go. See you next week.
Are you going to tell us what cello nuts
The condition
are like?
was described.
Thank you.
Raw and swollen loins of men who play their cellos too long and or too vigorously. Raw and swollen loins.
So what is the medical definition of loins? Because that's a medical definition that you're using right there. I thought loin was...
You thought it was only in romantic novels?
It's either romantic novels or anthropology from the 1950s to describe an area that's sort of from
the trousier-ish.
It's where your
front of pants region.
It's where your belt stops to your
it's where your undies stop.
No, below that. Below
your underpants.
Like a little bit of thigh as well as loin.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, you go with it. I think whatever works for you. Medicine's quite flexible, especially in the 70s. So let's call it in the front of trouser, man area, somewhat focused on the bowels. The condition has been referred to on many occasions since the letter came out, we were told by the 2008 Symphony of Maladies. Cello scrotum has been referenced several times over the years since then, including by a scholar who debated whether it was in fact an awkward contact with the chair rather than with the instrument that might be the source of the irritation. I don't know how either. What are you doing with the chair?
Listener, if you're a cellist, can you describe the posture that is going to do? I once sat on my own balls at the pub.
You're a big man, though.
I don't know how it happened.
That's impressive.
I don't know
how drunk were you? Does alcohol do that?
A little bit. A little bit.
Alcohol adds dangle to the ankle?
Might have been just how I came into the chair.
Oh, add velocity?
I think there was velocity involved.
Were you wearing clothes?
God, I can't
remember.
I was at the pub. So yes.
That's not. No, they're not logical connected.
Well, I'm working back from logic. I must have been.
It's likely we're going to go 80% probability.
You've never sat on your own balls?
I'm not. I refuse to. I'm pleading the fifth. Sitting on them now. So yes, this is one doctor was wondering: is it actually about awkward contact with the chair? Now it sounds like you have had. Did you have a cello when you had that? I
didn't. No cello. There was no cello.
So it's unrelated.
Yeah.
You found a new one. Pub nuts. He's got pub nuts.
They already exist, sadly.
Yeah, well. So both guitar nipple and cello scrotum are listed in the many of the musical maladies in the paper. But cello scrotum, they said, is very rare, and therefore they were a little tentative about talking about it.
About actually naming it?
Yeah, and just bringing it up in this list of all these different
okay.
issues that classical musicians have, those monsters. So after this Symphony of Maladies paper was released in 2008, the scrotum thing took an interesting twist.
What?
I know, right?
What?
So let's first talk about J.M. Murphy, the author of the letter. So he's the only signatory, J.M., aka John Murphy. So he was born in Essex in 1944, and he pioneered the art of brand valuation.
Sure, okay.
Obviously.
So this is like how much the Nike brand is worth.
Yeah, yeah. And apparently before him doing this, it was like just the nature and the value of the brand itself rather than the objects hadn't really been...
Oh, no, I get it. You know, we think about how much a thing is worth, but not
the Trump wine.
I was talking to my kids the other day about this, that you know, you could have a video game, the exact same video game, but you put Mario's face on it, and it's gonna sell way more. Like Mario just as a character is worth, I don't know, probably $10 billion or something like that. And they were like, what?
I would have thought more like 11.
Look at you brand value.
I know.
But I get that it's a bit of a tough concept. You go, it's just pictures.
Yeah, it's just a thing. So John Murphy looked into this. So in 1974, he started Novamark, and it's a small company that specialised in product naming and trademark registrations.
How much fun would that be?
It would kind of be fun, but I'd feel a bit dirty too.
No, you'd also have to be boring. Like I would always suggest the joke names, and so I'd never get above the bottom level of the company.
This is why my wife and I, she says, I need you to help me brainstorm my business product. I'm like, are you sure? Yeah. So the way it starts now is they say, let me get 10 idiotic comments out of the way first.
But maybe that's what they do. You just start with, okay, let's get all of the dumb out of the way, and then gradually you'll work your way towards sensible.
Yeah. So like she said to me the other day, look, I'm going to offer this suite of things, but I need a free giveaway first, like a thing that will make people go, oh, that's pretty cool. And I said, how about a string of pearls?
Nice.
And she looked at me and said, why? And I said, look, we've got to go through this process because it's ridiculous.
I have to get it out of me.
Everyone who looks at my website gets a pearl necklace. It's ridiculous.
But you remember they used to do that in the Demtel ads in the 90s.
Yeah.
You know, there was and a string of pearls, steak knives and a string of pearls.
Absolutely common. So John Murphy's company led to names like British Telecom, Homebase, Prozac, and even Zeneca, the pharmaceutical company.
Well, look, this is another episode that I've been thinking about doing for you for a while, but I've still not quite got the story of it. But naming of medicines, because every time I look at a medicine, I'm like, how the hell did you come up with that name?
Rabbit hole, man.
Like, what is that name? Why?
You just go and look at John Murphy.
Well, indeed. All right, it's done now. I'll tick it off my list.
Yeah, we're doing it. This is it. So he opened up offices 79, so 5 years later in New York City, and he called the company Interbrand. It developed
not a great name for the company. I mean, as a branding company.
But what does Sony mean? Okay. Actually, nothing anymore. But you know what it used to mean. And like, I think if you're a brand expert, surely you could make your company brand worth something. I don't know. Maybe not.
Okay, maybe.
Plumbers, toilets leak. Psychologists are mad. Interbrand developed a whole bunch like a brand valuation sort of service in the 80s, and they called it it's a huge buying and selling of branded goods businesses, where what was essentially being bought and sold was brands only. Nobody knew how to value brands. So in the 80s, they announced they were going to do more and more work like this. Murphy, in the late 80s, 89, put out a book called Brand Valuation, Establishing a True and Fair View. In 93, he sold his company and 600 employees, I assume those slaves,
sure,
to a company called Omnicom.
Jesus Christ. I mean, it's great. It's a great brand if you are an evil villain in a kid's...
in a cartoon,
In a kid's cartoon.
Absolutely.
That's what you name the company for.
Is that the head of Omnicom?
Yeah, indeed.
And he stayed on as chair of Interbrand's business until the late 90s. So after that, he went, I'm not interested in this. I want to actually build a brand myself rather than just market them.
Yeah,
so
I want to do it.
Let's find out.
I've been teaching for ages.
Exactly.
Now I want to take the plunge.
Check that shit out. So he moved away from this, and he was wondering why it was so difficult for English beers to be sold overseas. And he realised because many brewers, their primary market was through local pubs and local territories. So
and terrible brand names. It's like North Bumberington's.
Yeah, shitty bitter.
Well, I was going to go the Todd Waddler.
Todd Waddler. I'll try that. That's funny. We'll have a pint of Todd Waddler. What's in it? I don't care.
Well, everyone down in the West Country is drinking the Todd Waddler.
The Todd Waddler. So he decided to set up a brewery.
Just because he wanted to do brands.
Yeah, he was curious. So he set up an artisanal brewery in the late 90s.
Oh, he's a hipster.
Yeah, a pre-hipster. And it wasn't related to big chains of pubs, and he had that to go. Then he also bought Allied Domecq, which was the Plymouth gin distillery, and they were famous because they did pink gin and all that shit.
Okay, yeah.
But they weren't doing well.
They just need brands.
I know, it's weird, isn't it? So he bought the distillery, and at the time they were selling, when he bought them, 3,000 cases of gin a year. They had the capacity to make 200,000. And after he repackaged and rebranded and PR'd, he went up, in a few years, he got it up to 150,000 cases. So he made it work.
Yeah, okay.
He then had a...
what was the thing that he did? Like, he just made it better?
He made it better. He hashtag make viral.
Cool.
Yeah.
Waved some magic sauce over it.
And he was so good at this shit that he got an honorary degree of social sciences from Brunel University in 2001.
Okay.
So why the fuck was this guy writing a letter in 1974 to the British Medical Journal
this is
about
what I wanted to know.
cello scrotum?
Well, mate, is he the namer of the syndrome, or is he coming up with a beer? Please tell me he's coming up with a beer.
Cello balls beer. Let's talk about his wife.
Okay, all right.
Elaine Murphy.
Did she have cello scrotum?
Yes, she did. She was a big bald woman.
It's fine. It's fine. Just... I want to know the connection. That's all I want to know.
Well, they're married. That's what wife means.
Yeah,
so his
connection
wife
to the story.
Oh, there probably isn't one. I just started reading, and that was the end of it. She qualified as a doctor and then became a psychiatrist. She was an academic. She worked in the National Health Service for a quarter of a century, 25 years. Health Service General Manager for a number of years in the late 80s. Mm-hmm. The first professor of psychiatry of old age in the UK. And that was at the University of London at Guy's Hospital. So quite a stellar person in her field. She took on non-executive roles after she retired in the early 2000s, blah, blah, blah. Lots of stuff like this.
Don't say blah, blah, blah about achievements.
Okay,
just say and more.
And more.
And wonderful things.
Oh, my God, there's so much more.
Yeah, I can't fit it all in. She's stellar. She's good.
She was a visiting professor at Queen Mary University of London, vice president of the Alzheimer's Society.
In spite of her cello balls.
In spite of dragging them around behind it. It makes her memorable.
Yeah, that's what Nietzsche says.
Yeah, big balls makes you memorable.
It's a duty to yourself to be distinctive. So,
thank God. I feel like I am.
You're doing fine.
Thank you. Vice president of the Alzheimer's Society, chair of council at St George's University of London, on 209 to 212, non-executive member of National Health Service Hospitals. In 2004, she was made a life peer, and she was made Baroness Murphy of Aldgate in the City of London because of her work with mental health and ageing issues. So she sits in the House of Lords as a crossbencher. She also has a PhD in social history, and she's published in the fields of 18th and 19th century workhouses, madhouses, and local history.
At this point, she should stop because she sounds very well done.
Yeah, she does.
I feel a bit jealous.
Yeah, well, you could be her. It's got to be
do all of the other stuff. Yeah. Do all the other stuff.
Yeah.
I got commitments.
She wrote you do. You're a busy man. I know
exactly.
that.
I can't fit in.
You're a busy man. Most recent publication that I could find was called The Moated Grange, a history of South Norfolk through the story of one home, 1300 to 2000. And it's about the village of Brockdish in South Norfolk.
That's cool. That's that one house that's been there for 700 years, and she's gone, let's do the history of everything around. Look, that's has no huge impact, but damn, it'd be fun.
Oh, it's very interesting. It'd be most entertaining, and you'd have so many buddies in that town. Once you wandered around chatting with them, you could drink a lot of Todd Wobbler. Oh, I
was going to go Todd Waddle. It was kind of a Loddler. Todd
Waddler. She's also an honorary associate of the National Secular Society. Oh, and it also seems that John signed the scrotum letter on her behalf. So it seems it was her idea or her discovery, and he signed it instead of her.
Why?
Well,
so he's a brand guy.
Yep.
And she's an expert in psychiatry and stuff like that. But she's very academically. And she wrote a letter and he signed it.
Yep.
About celloist scrotum.
Yep. Connection's just obvious, right?
I'm just a little bit stuck. What is going on here?
Duh. If I knew it was going to be an obvious story, why would I bother? So we flash forward 35 odd years, as you do. Let's just get all the boring middle bits out of the way. So there's a letter to the editor of British Journal of Urology and other parts to do with piddling, May 2009. Sir, in a 1974 issue of the BMJ, Elaine Murphy, then a fledgling medical student, described a case of scrotal inflammation caused by chafing of the crotch during hours of playing the cello.
Okay, so this does sound like cello scrotum.
It does, doesn't it? She gave no details in a 9-line letter signed by her husband, not even a picture. God, I'd love to see the picture, but there wasn't one. Murphy coined her new malady.
This is another of the husband signing. Okay.
No, this is by Harry W. Hare.
But again, this is
a different dude.
But a different dude and a different lady.
No, a different dude talking about Elaine and this letter. So it's definitely, this guy is referring to the letter from 1974.
Okay, all right, fair.
And so Elaine Murphy is the actual person. Murphy coined her new malady, cello scrotum, helping to launch cellist's neck, guitar nipple, fiddler's neck, flautist's chin,
you serious?
And other annoying skin irritations affecting musicians in what has become known as a symphony of maladies.
Tell me more. Hurry up.
Anyway, I got to go.
I'm stunned. No.
So he goes on. Harry goes on. Cello scrotum was cited frequently in dermatological reports, most recently in 2008. This is the symphony one. And its validity was questioned only once.
Jesus Christ.
Such a case was not reported, nor apparently seen by urologists.
Are you telling me this is a weirdo scam or joke or something?
Why would I tell you that?
No, just give me the answers.
After 34 years, this is where we're at now, Murphy, who is a baroness and a member of the British House of Lords, decided to come clean.
Are you freaking serious? Here's me thinking that I was worried about the poor scrotums of scrota of cellists.
Scrots.
Sure. The scrots.
That's the plural.
The scrots of cellists. Yeah. And you're saying this is fake?
Yeah. She admitted in a letter published on January 27, 2009. So just a few months before Harry wrote this letter, January 27, 2009, in the British Medical Journal, that she had invented cello scrotum and that her case was a hoax.
God, can you imagine? You're a baroness now, and you're like, okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's not that I embezzled. It's not that I had a weird sex dungeon thing in the 60s. No. Problem is,
I made up cellist balls.
Oh,
So the actual confession letter that Harry Hare is referring to, here, this is the letter. Perhaps after 34 years, it's time for us to confess that we invented cello scrotum. Imagine writing that line.
I know.
Are you crying or laughing when you write that line? You're sobbing uncontrollably.
Your life has got to a certain stage where you have to confess that you did this. Like, well, look, you always knew it was coming though. Like if you committed a crime, like if you've buried a
corpse,
you've buried someone under the floorboards. One day it's coming out. You killed a whole family back in the war. One day it's coming out.
Fuckers deserved it.
I know, but if you made up cello scrotum one day, one day.
We reading P. Curtis's 1974 letter to the BMJ on guitarist Nipple. We thought it highly likely to be a spoof, and decided to go one further by submitting a letter pretending to have noted a similar phenomenon in cellists, signed by the non-doctor one of us, so her husband.
The branding expert.
Yes. Anyone who has ever watched a cello being played would realise the physical impossibility of our claim.
Oh, what? I've watched it?
Somewhat to our astonishment, the letter was published. The following Christmas, we sent a card to Dr. Curtis of guitarist Nipple fame, only to discover that he knew nothing about it. Another joke, we suspect. We've been dining out on this story ever since. We were thrilled once more to be quoted in A Symphony of Maladies. Baroness Elaine Murphy and John M. Murphy.
That is so good. I'm so weirdly happy about this.
It's delightful.
I wasn't happy that these poor cellists were getting the scrotum injuries, but I'm very happy that, look, there you go.
So she didn't sign the letter herself because she was quite junior at the time and she feared she'd get in trouble. So her husband, don't worry, sweetheart, I'll do it. And Harry Hare, the guy who's written this letter to the British Journal of Urology and other human plumbing.
So they didn't ask about his expertise at all?
No, but no, they didn't. They just published it.
Sure. Yeah, it's content. You got to feed the hungry beast.
You do. The 70s were a very vicious time for medical journals.
Well, and it's like those poor podcasters at the moment. They just got to get stuff out. Like, people just got to get stuff out.
It's not us. We're not poor.
I know. I'm just saying. Well, no.
Not like us wealthy podcasters.
I know. But them, you got to get stuff out. You got to see it.
So, yeah, she was worried she'd get in trouble, so he did it. And Harry, the guy who writes the letter to urology, basically, he ends it some kind of a cautionary tale, shit can go wrong, blah, blah, blah. So the fact that this got exposed even made it to Fox News.
Really?
Yeah. But they got some of the details wrong, which is, I think, hilarious.
Of course they did. I'm going to go, they went with guitarist kneecap rather than cellist.
Yeah. Guitarist.
Scrotum?
Fuck it. I nearly went elsewhere. They basically, the headline was, Doctor Tricked Medical Journal into printing fake guitar nipple article, which was not what they printed. And it goes on, an esteemed doctor of Britain's House of Lords admitted to inventing a false medical condition 34 years ago as a prank and submitting it to the British Medical Journal. So Murphy, now a baroness, along with her husband, pulled the prank in 1974. And sent the letter to the journal, which does publish medical correspondence about odd or unusual cases.
Yeah, sure.
So they're right.
Of course
so
they're
far.
going to. Yep.
The letter detailed a condition called guitar nipple. It didn't. They did the cello. The couple described 3 young classical guitarists who had inflamed nipples, etc. That was not them.
Didn't, yeah.
But then they say, in order to take the prank one step further, they then went on to note the similar phenomenon in cellists. So they were all very excited by it, etc. That had happened, but. They went on to say the letter was purposely signed by John Murphy, the Baroness's husband at the time, as he was not a doctor. She's a former professor at Guy's and St Thomas's Hospital, etc. She's active on mental health issues and ageing in the House of Lords. John Murphy is chairman of a brewery in Suffolk. Last month, guitar nipple was dubbed cello scrotum in reference to a paper about music-related disorders, so the Murphys decided to come clean. The journal has dubbed the scandal Scrotum Gate.
For vaguely research for potential stories, I was reading the Wikipedia page of Dash Gate. Like there are
That's got to be long.
So many of them. I didn't even get to Scrotum Gate.
Well, it's not the only one. You don't want to confuse it with the other Scrotum Gate.
There's another Scrotum Gate.
This is just an aside, but I have to tell you because it made me very happy.
Of course it did. It had the word Scrotum Gate. You started happy, and then you got
happier.
very.
Yeah. The 2007 Newbery Medal winner, And the Newbery Medal was named for an 18th century British bookseller. And this medal is awarded annually by the Association for Library Service to Children, a division of the American Library Association.
Okay, cool.
And it's awarded to the author of the most distinguished contribution to American literature for children.
Oh, cool. That sounds good. That sounds like a nice thing to win.
It's wonderful. So there's a book called The Higher Power of Lucky in 2007. It was banned from children's libraries across the US because it described a dog scrotum on the first page.
Seriously, children laugh at dog scrotums.
I really want to read the story, though. We begin Ballscape.
I love the idea that it's both award-winning, banned, and has dog scrotum straight away.
Yes.
Okay. The higher power of lucky.
The Higher Power of Lucky.
That is my next kids' book to read to the kids.
The ensuing row about censorship was so impassioned it was dubbed Scrotum Gate. So I don't want people getting confused between the two.
It's a vague ambition of mine to write a kids' novel. I love the concept.
Dog's balls, man.
Dog's balls. That's where I'm going straight away. I'm going to get banned. And then.
This is Blackie. Blackie got his nuts cut off. Anyway, Blackie went on to live a semi-happy life as a...
So dog's balls not okay. So laughing at dogs' erections, that's not okay too.
It's fucking hilarious.
I know, but they're like it's like the lipstick. You shouldn't do that.
Red Rocket.
Not a kids' novel thing.
No, maybe not.
Kids laugh at these things.
Everyone does.
Indeed,
dead inside.
What is the dog doing? Exactly. Not a kids' novel thing.
I wish I had that effect. That happened to me when I ate meat out of a can.
Yeah, I got a girl dog, so I don't know.
Well, look, I've had both and have both, and yeah, you never know what may happen at times that are unexpected, whether or not they have things that could be affected by cellos. So, what was the backlash? Like, was there any? So, as many reports suggest, for starters, someone might have thought in all this time, 35 odd years, to ask a cellist. Does this seem likely?
No.
So, according to one of many reports, there was a New York. It's in the list of references, but it might have been New York Magazine. They spoke to Roger Shell. He'd been playing the cello for 40 years and said he'd never heard of cello scrotum. No surprise. I can't actually see how that's possible, he says. At most, Shell said, it's possible for cellists to chafe the inside of their thighs if you're wearing shorts. That's not classy. You don't play cello in shorts.
No, but if it's like a beach concert or something like that.
Yeah, that's true. Cellos on the beach? Made out of, I don't know. He goes on, there are really no other contact points other than the chest. And in fact, I do have the so-called cellist's chest. A small area of skin on my chest that's maybe a little calloused.
Okay.
So what did the BMJ do? The British Medical Journal.
Hopefully they reevaluate their processes entirely.
Let us shut down.
Yeah, go back to the drawing board.
We are retracting everything ever published.
All medicine is dead.
Yep. Medicine's over now. We're going back to Ouija boards and tarot cards. So after the Murphy's prank was revealed, the deputy editor of the BMJ at the time, so back in 2008-9, said, I think people could spoof us.
He's saying they could because, as in process-wise they could, or could because, whatever. I don't care.
Shit happens. Though he said it would be unlikely doctors could fool people with that kind of stuff today. In the old days, people used to turn to single case reports much more often, he said. But today, people look for larger studies with more evidence. They're very turned off by single case reports now. So it's silly olden days people.
Okay, yeah. In the 90s, back when people were so dumb.
Well, this is the 70s when they first
that's right.
perpetuated or perpetrated the hoax. If something were to turn up as fabricated, he said, the BMJ would resort to retractions, and retractions can seriously hurt a researcher's career. And so it's very rare. It maybe only happens in their journal once every 5 years. So they were kind of
really
they assume
that rare on retractions.
Apparently, at least
some journals are a little bit more than that.
At least
a little bit more than that.
At least in 2008, 2009. So he's basically suggesting that if you would expect people wouldn't hoax it because if you got to publish a retraction, it shits on your career.
Yeah, no doubt.
As I mentioned in an episode recently on
indeed.
Brian Wansink.
I think if we go back as well, there was an episode we did a couple of years ago that was it was about the heroes of academic retractions who had quite a number of them.
Retraction Watch Legends. It's a great place to go and hang and read. So, regardless, as he put it, no one faced the sack for failing to spot the implausible condition. That wasn't his joke. I just thought, really, you said face the sack? Thank you very much for giving me that line.
It was small.
Yeah, but it's great. It's great. He did say, we did actually get a letter from another doctor at the time pointing out how unlikely it was.
And they didn't publish that?
No. We may have to organise a formal retraction or correction now. Once these things get into the scientific literature, they stay there for good, but it all adds to the gaiety of life.
There you go.
I know.
You go, whatever, back off. It's the 70s. It adds to the gaiety of life.
I know. And he goes on. He goes on to say, look, doctors also get a chance to become, notorious by entering the oddball research into their annual Christmas edition.
Yeah.
Everyone's got to play at Christmas.
Yeah, of course.
As he says, we tend to be jokey at Christmas. So, he cites the year at the time, so 2009-ish, example this year of research on the physics of head bagging.
Yeah, but that's real.
Yeah,
I can imagine a real study on that.
Yeah. And so as he puts it, we get enough genuinely wacky stuff without having to make it up. The current editor-in-chief, Fiona Godley, so she's still, I checked her out, she told Britain's independent newspaper, it seems the BMJ has been deliciously hoaxed. It is wonderful it has been going on all these years and no one has realised. I think that's great.
Well, you've got to keep your hoaxes small.
I know.
No one cares.
We frown on misconduct and medical fraud is taken very seriously, but in this case, I hope I'm right in saying that no harm has been done. So, I was kind of happy to see that they didn't act like dicks about it.
Yeah. They said, you know what? People have a bit of fun.
Yeah.
And it was just calm down. Don't worry about it. And it's a bit of a laugh. That's nice. Yeah, that's good.
But where does the line go? This is always what we do now in our risk-averse society.
No. Okay, where does the line go? When you are hoaxing with the desire to change people's behaviour for the worse.
Cured cancer by drinking petrol.
Yeah, exactly. But that is not good. But if you're having a bit of a laugh, no one is changing their behaviour on this. All cellists are like, I play the way I play, and it's not happening to me.
Yeah,
it's not.
Luckily, my balls are fine.
Yeah, that's a joke.
Yeah.
Look, that's a tough one. I mean, I know society is not coping well with the line between joke and not joke at the moment.
Well, that puts us in trouble.
We have no jokes. We have no jokes here.
I was going to say we have no lines. Oh, that's me.
Or one of the two.
Guilty.
Yeah.
Guilty.
But we're not coping very well. But we need more of that. We need more of the.
I think so.
Scrotum.
I think it's great. Because it literally. I thought about it. I cannot imagine a way in which it's harmful.
And that's the thing. Is it harmful? Yeah, that's the right question to ask.
Yeah.
And the cellists themselves don't believe anything like this, and they're like, "I'm playing my cello, and I haven't worried about this."
Do you know what's going to happen? Someone's going to listen to this, and they're going to find a legion of people who could have been contenders and who quit the cello because they're worried about their balls.
Oh, look, maybe. Well, maybe.
No, it's not.
Maybe.
No, it's not. That's just not going to happen.
There you go. Don't worry about your scrotum. If you're a cello player,
never worry about it.
Don't worry about it. You're fine. The Wholesome Show is a production of Good Day Studios. You might be thinking, what the hell is Good Day Studios? It's,
We'll tell you about it later.
Will we?
Yeah, soon.
A blog post. But, it's a package of Australia's favourite podcasts.
A package.
The Wholesome Show, me, Will Grant, him, Rod Lamberts. Don't worry about your scrotum, cello players. It's all fine.
I had $1 for every time I've heard that.